So Russia just accused the United States of using crypto to wipe out, quote unquote, its $35 trillion debt, making everybody else pay for it and trying to use stable coins and crypto on that objective. So it's a little bit confusing. So let's discuss and understand the monetary mechanics behind it. So first off, this is Putin's advisor called Anton Kobiakov, and he said that Washington will shove that into stablecoins, devalue it, and reset the whole system. So let me actually paraphrase what he said at the conference. America is now trying to change the rules in the gold and cryptocurrency markets. Remember, their debt is $35 trillion. These are two alternative currency segments in the global markets. Washington's actions in this direction clearly demonstrate one of the main American objectives. They really want to solve the problem of declining trust in the dollar. They will solve their financial problems at the expense of the entire world, pushing everyone into the cryptocurrency cloud. Over time, when part of the U.S. national debt is placed in stablecoins, the U.S. will devalue this debt. Once again, in simple terms, right now they have a 35 trillion currency debt. They push it into crypto, into the cloud, devalue it, and start from zero. This is for those who really love getting into crypto. So pretty confusing, especially when you understand that, of course, we do have concerns about the U.S. national debt, which is now not 35, but 37.5 almost $trillion. But that's not really how it works. How would you get rid of the debt and just put into crypto? So you put into the cloud and magically make it disappear where everybody else pays for it. So it's not really how that works, especially when you understand how this is used as collateral. And I repeat that every single time because you need to think it as the yin and the yang. So dollars is just a cash position, doesn't provide any interest. And bonds, it's not really a debt of the country. It is treated that way. However, why would you have as a goal to pay for a debt in the currency that you issue yourself when that bond is actually used as collateral by every single bank on earth to get more credit? So you need treasuries or bonds to be able to get credit in dollars, and then you need dollars to buy more treasuries. So you create kind of that cycle of the yin and yang. So they need to coexist as matter and antimatter, so to speak. So what is the interest of the United States to actually pay it back? It wouldn't be really a great business if you think about how the monetary system is made. And again, I'm not defending the system, just describing how it works. This is basically MMT, right? And actually we discuss a lot about that into our report, and this is really an interesting concern because of the whole geopolitics situation that is very intrinsic to monetary mechanics. Fortunately or unfortunately, you cannot take that back anymore. So it's all about what happens in geopolitics, so you understand where the liquidity flows are going to be. And now you see those blocks just getting together, either as BRICS or maybe now with North Korea. So you see Russia trying to find a way into getting outside of the dollar using many ways. China doing the same thing, where they have the most, almost the most treasuries behind Japan. So you see a whole capital war going on around the world. And also, but what is the big deal with stablecoins specifically? So the idea is when you actually have a stablecoin, by definition, you need to hold those bonds. So that's this is how it actually got regulated. And we discussed that in other chapters as well. That will actually force the holders to get or the issuer actually to get bonds as a collateral for their holdings on USDT, for example, which is the biggest on earth. And this is just growing and growing. And stable coins, of course, along with Bitcoin as well, is being used more and more outside of the United States, right? Which is the Eurodollar system. The dollar is deposited outside of the United States and seen as a way to get around even the local currencies. So basically, when you see those kinds of speeches, that it's not really a concern about them being the good guys or anything like that. I'm concerned about the safety of the users or anything like that. It's about global dominance, and we actually discuss exactly what happens in those in our monetary mechanics session as well of our BI report, and how this actually makes a lot of sense. We already talked about that since the inception of the Genius Act and how it is actually creating many threats around the world. But if you want to act on your investments, understand how it works, how liquidity is actually going to affect maybe your Bitcoin holdings or equity holdings, you can check our latest report in the link of the description below. And you can try for free for 14 whole days, and you have access to the full repertoire. All right. So by understanding this concept, which is the definition of a stable coin that is previously authorized by the United States through the Genius Act, it's very important for us to understand that not only it creates future demand for more bonds, so it's not really a matter of paying back any kind of debt, but just to provide a way to keep the trust in the system. So this is the only part that I would actually agree with what he said, because trust is indeed eroding. They're looking towards other ways, alternative ways. Maybe we go for gold, for example, right? So you see how gold and as well Bitcoin as reserve assets. So you see gold just skyrocketing and becoming more and more Bitcoin-like on all-time highs, almost 36.45, and at the same time you see Bitcoin also pretty close to all-time highs as well, even though we do have a correction, but still over 100K. So these are assets that just are liquidity sponges and act more alike and part of that alternative monetary system. But the idea on stablecoins is a little bit different. Here, the stablecoin needs to have the technological capability to comply with lawful orders to seize, freeze, burn, or prevent the transfer of outstanding stablecoins. So this is the trick. So the different, in contrast to Bitcoin, this is exactly what could happen. So it's a Game of Thrones, so to speak, on CBDCs. It's a CBDC play because it has exactly the same kind of a feature that would be expected from a CBDC. So that is the problem, the hegemony on a monetary system where you have the actual expansion of stable coins, and due to the fact that the most famous stable coin is Tether today, but you have more and more coming in like USDC and so on, and also foreign entities will also be able to create those as long as it's compliant to the Genius Act, and that creates a whole new web of, so to speak, a new Eurodollar system 2.0 that provide actually a dollarization trend, even though the whole narrative is about de-dollarization. So I think this is more of a capital geopolitical war that is going right now, which makes everything pretty interesting, but also pretty volatile. And we discuss for sure on our for our BI readers how you can act on those and what kind of assets we are bullish, bearish, and so on, so you can act on your investments in a safe way. All right, so hope you guys like it, and see you in the next video.